I think there is no doubt that the time is right for real-time clearing. If we look at the history of clearing, both post-trade, pre-trade risk management, everything like that, there has been incredible lags over time. Only 20 years ago, we had possibly settlement periods going as long as 21 days in some marketplaces. Now, in 1999, I wrote a book, Capital Market Revolution. At that time, I introduced the concept that we would go towards CCP clearing for cash equities. And in fact, the clearing industry frankly laughed at it. They thought it was a ridiculous notion. If we look at the world today, what we see is ubiquity of clearing for cash equities. Simple processes that have become de rigueur. Why have they become de rigueur? Because ultimately we've moved towards a digital real-time world. In an era when we can manage to have our Twitter, our Foursquare, all of these different things all operating in real time, it is ludicrous that we're still sitting in an age where effectively clearinghouses are something like a submarine. They have a periscope. It goes up in the morning before the market opens. It comes back down. In the middle of the morning, they peruse what's happening and make sure that everything has been cleared and settled. Occasionally, if the marketplace is looking very volatile and the periscope goes up later during the course of the day, they might think of perhaps bringing the submarine to the surface and managing to do some sort of an operation. But overall, while that served the industry incredibly well for, say, 150 years of the modern kind of futures, options, derivatives cleared marketplace, we're no longer in 1848. 1848, as we remember, is the year that we founded the Chicago Board of Trade in Chicago, those fine burghers of that great city. It was also, incidentally, the last year that we had a widespread food blight on the continent of Europe. Now, nowadays, nobody expects to see Europeans starving to death. In the same way, nobody expects these days the idea that they're suddenly going to have to wait days on end before they settle their cash equities without there being clearing. When we look at the technology that's around, there is a clear argument and onus that we must move towards real-time clearing. And indeed, what's more important there is the whole issue of how the world is changing itself. In this post-Dodd-Emir-Frank world where the OTC markets have become post-OTC, where we have platforms for trading swaps, where we have the central counterparty clearing of swaps, we cannot afford to sit in this environment and look at the idea that suddenly clearinghouses are just one part of the jigsaw puzzle. Rather, clearinghouses are not just the jungle, they're the desert, they're the mountains, they're the oceans, they're the core of our infrastructure. And in that sense, we owe it to investors, to traders, to brokers, whether they own collateral, whether they need collateral. These people need real-time metrics, real-time operations, and real-time clearing and settlement with real-time risk throughout that food chain.